The hunters of the galaxy. The galaxy was wide and endless, filled with stars, dust, and old civilizations. But there was one name that made every world shake with fear: the hunters. They were not diplomats, not conquerors. They were predators. They lived for the chase, for the kill. Entire planets had vanished when the hunters decided to feed. The hunters had claws like blades, hides harder than steel, and minds sharp with patience. They stalked their prey across systems, waiting, watching, striking only when fear was deepest. To them, fear was the sweetest flavor. For thousands of years, no species had resisted. Every empire, every colony, every fleet, all fell. The hunters laughed in their dark ships, decorated with bones and shattered hulls. Their history was not written with words, but with screams. Now, their eyes turned to a small blue world on the edge of the Orion Arm. A world called Earth. At first, they dismissed it. Just another weak species, another easy harvest. But then, they heard rumors humans were spreading fast. Colonies beyond their homeworld, ships traveling across sectors, fleets training not for hunting, but for war. The hunters gathered in their council chambers. Giant creatures, their eyes burning like cold fire, argued over strategy. One leaned forward and hissed, "These humans, they multiply like insects. If we do not strike now, they will grow strong, stronger than any prey we have faced." The council agreed. The hunt was declared. Humanity would be tested. A predator fleet moved silently through the void, their vessels shaped like spears, designed for piercing through shields and armor. They entered a human colony system, far from Earth. A peaceful world, with farmers, miners, and small ships that carried food and ore. The hunters watched from the dark edges of space. Their leader growled, "Begin." In seconds, human freighters burned. Civilian stations were ripped apart. Screams echoed across the channels. The predators laughed, their claws scraping against the arms of their chairs. They expected fear. They expected begging, but something strange happened. A human patrol ship, small and outdated, did not run. Instead, it turned directly toward the predators. Its captain gave one last message, his voice steady, almost calm. "You think we are prey, but you do not understand what it means to be human." Then, the patrol ship rammed straight into the predator cruiser, engines overloaded, detonating in a fireball that ripped the alien warship in half. The predators stared in silence. No prey had ever done this. The leader roared, demanding answers. Why would they throw their lives away? What kind of prey kills itself to kill the hunter? On the ruined colony, human ground forces were already mobilizing. Farmers dropped tools and picked up rifles. Miners used explosives, not for rocks, but for invaders. Families hid in bunkers, sending coordinates to militia fighters. It was chaos, but it was not fear. The hunters watched carefully. Their instincts, sharpened over millennia, whispered danger. One predator growled, "They are reckless. They do not value their lives." Another answered, voice heavy, "Or maybe they value something more." The first battle ended with burning. Wrecks drifting in orbit. Humans lost many, but the predators, for the first time, lost ships too. And worse, the humans did not break. They fought harder after every death. The predators retreated to the shadows, not in fear, but in confusion. Prey was supposed to run, scream, hide. Yet these humans looked at death and walked forward. In their council chamber, silence stretched long. Finally, the leader of the hunters spoke, his voice low, uncertain for the first time. "They are not prey. They are something else. Something we have never faced before." From across the galaxy, other species listened, waiting, watching. The predators had always been unstoppable. But now, Cracks had appeared. On Earth, news spread of the attack. Humanity did not mourn in silence. They prepared. Fleets were armed. Soldiers trained. Scientists built weapons that bent the laws of physics. The predators thought they were beginning the hunt. But in truth, they had awakened something far more dangerous. For the first time in their long history, the hunters of the galaxy felt the smallest spark of fear. And deep in the shadows of space, humanity whispered back, "Now it's our turn." The first encounter of the predators came back quickly. Their pride had been cut, their history stained. No prey had ever destroyed a hunter ship before. They could not allow such shame to spread across the stars. This time, they arrived with more ships. Dark spears of metal, engines glowing like dying suns, spread across the human colony system. Their leader snarled, "No hesitation, no mercy. Break them. Burn them." The humans, however, were not silent. Orbiting the colony, a small fleet waited. Not grand battleships, not mighty carriers. Just patrol frigates, corvettes, and a few destroyers. Old ships, patched with repairs, their hulls scarred by years of service. To the predators, it looked like weakness. They laughed. "This is all humanity can send? This will be no hunt, only slaughter." But when the first predator missile streaked forward, the humans did not scatter. They moved as one. The frigates spread out, covering each other with overlapping shields. The corvettes darted in and out, fast as knives. The destroyers opened fire with railguns, their slugs tearing through the void at impossible speeds. A predator cruiser shook under the impact, its armor pierced clean through. The hunters were stunned. These human ships were small, weak, yet they fought with a strange rhythm, messy, unpredictable, and terrifying. One predator commander barked orders, "Tear them apart. They are only prey." But the humans didn't fight like prey. They fought like cornered wolves. A corvette took heavy damage, flames trailing across its hull. Instead of retreating, it accelerated. The pilot's voice cut across the human comms. "For Earth, for my family, for all of us." The ship rammed into a predator destroyer, the explosion so bright it blinded sensors. Both ships were lost. Silence followed for only a heartbeat. Then human voices answered, not in grief, but in fury. "Push them back." The predators hesitated. It was small, a flicker, but it was there. They had seen prey scream, beg, hide, but never this. Never a species that turned death into a weapon. The battle raged. A predator frigate moved in close, ready to cut apart. A damaged human ship. At the last second, the human vessel released a cloud of shrapnel. Jagged pieces of metal turned into bullets by sheer speed. The predator's hull shredded, its engines torn apart. On the predator flagship, silence spread. Their leader stared at the display. The humans were not winning, not yet. But they were not losing either. And that was worse. The hunters had always been certain. Certainty was their greatest strength. They knew how prey behaved, how prey feared, how prey fell. But humans were rewriting the rules with every moment. On the ground below, predator strike teams landed. They expected easy prey villagers, miners, weak flesh ready for slaughter. Instead, they met fire. Humans fought with rifles, explosives, even mining lasers. Farmers set traps with simple wires and fuel tanks. Children threw stones from rooftops, distracting hunters long enough for militia fighters to strike. The predators felt something alien crawl across their skin. It was not anger. It was not hunger. It was unease. One veteran hunter whispered, "This is not prey. This is war." After hours of brutal fighting, the predator fleet pulled back. Not destroyed, but scarred. Ships that had never known defeat now limped away. The leader snarled in rage, claws digging into the chair. We will return. We will tear this human infection from the stars. But deep inside, where no one could hear, he felt something he had never known. A cold thought, growing stronger with every human scream, it turned into a battle cry. What if we are not the hunters anymore? Back on Earth, the message was clear. The colony had survived. At a terrible cost, yes, but it survived. The news spread like fire across human worlds. For the first time, humanity stood against the galaxy's deadliest predators and did not break. Scientists studied the battle data. Generals planned counterstrikes. Politicians spoke to the galaxy, their words strong and sharp. We are not prey. If you come for us, you will pay. And in hidden corners of the galaxy, other civilizations listened. They had always feared the hunters, always obeyed them. But now, a thought began to grow. If humans could fight back, maybe others could too. Predators had wanted to crush humanity before it grew too strong. Instead, they had done the opposite. They had lit a fire. The galaxy did not yet know it, but everything had changed. The hunters of the galaxy had just made their first mistake. Asterisk. Predators' fear. The predator fleet drifted in silence through the void. Their ships, once symbols of terror, now carried scars. Hulls were torn, weapons damaged, and morale broken. For the first time in their long history, they had pulled back without victory. Inside the Predator Council chamber, shadows clung to the walls. The leaders sat on their bone-carved thrones, their eyes burning with cold fire. Yet beneath their anger was something darker, something they had never admitted before. Doubt. The eldest hunter slammed a clawed hand against the table. Impossible. No prey has ever resisted us. No prey has ever taken so many of our ships. The humans are reckless, yes, but they cannot defeat us. Another leader, younger but sharper, leaned forward. His voice was low. You call them prey, but do they behave like prey? Did they beg? Did they hide? No, they fought. They killed. Themselves to kill us. What prey does this? Silence spread. None could answer. The predators had always hunted for fear. Fear made prey weak, predictable. But humans twisted fear into rage, into courage. They did not run from death. They used it. And that thought unsettled even the oldest hunters. A council scribe brought reports, images of human ground fighters, faces covered in dirt and blood, refusing to surrender. Data logs of human ships moving in strange, chaotic patterns that confused predator targeting systems. One recording played the last words of a human pilot before ramming into a cruiser. If I fall, more will rise. Humanity does not end with. The hunters shifted uncomfortably. That voice echoed too strongly in their minds. One predator whispered, almost to himself, Perhaps we have met ourselves. The leader growled. Explain. The whisper grew louder. Long ago, before. We were hunters of the galaxy. We were survivors. Our world was cruel. We killed each other. We fought every day just to live. Is this not the same for humans? A death world filled with storms, beasts, and endless wars. What if they were forged as we were forged? The chamber fell into silence. The thought was dangerous, but it felt true. Finally, the leader roared. Enough! They are still prey. They bleed, they burn, they die. We will crush them before they spread further. But in his private chamber later, when no one could see, he sat in darkness. He remembered the human patrol ship exploding into one of his cruisers. He remembered the fire, the way his warriors screamed as their ship broke apart. And he felt something new, not rage, not hunger, but a cold weight in his chest. Fear. Far across the stars, in human space, Earth's leaders gathered. The colony attack had been costly, but it proved something important. humanity could fight the predators. They studied every battle log, every predator tactic. The scientists said it clear. They are strong, but they are not invincible. The military planned. Shipyards worked night and day, building new weapons. Railguns grew bigger, faster, stronger. New carriers were designed, their hangars filled with drones and fighters. Humanity was no longer only defending, it was preparing to strike back, and the galaxy noticed. Smaller civilizations, long oppressed by the predators, whispered in secret. The humans resisted. The humans hurt them. Hope spread like sparks. On dry leaves. Civilizations that had bent to the hunters for centuries now wondered. Maybe the hunters could bleed. Maybe the hunters could fall. The predators sensed this too. And that terrified them even more than human weapons. If prey across. The galaxy began to resist. The predator's reign would collapse. In the predator homeworld, the skies were dark with storms. The leader looked out across the city of stone and fire. He knew his people lived on fear. They ruled through terror. If humans broke that, they would not only lose prey, they would lose their empire. His claws dug into the stone rail. We cannot let them rise. We must end them before the galaxy learns too much. But deep inside, even as he shouted to his armies, a single thought gnawed at him. What if it is already too late? And far away, in the silent depths of space, a massive human fleet began to move. Asterisk the human strategy, the predators thought humans would panic. They thought Earth would hide behind walls, build shields, and beg for mercy. But what came next was something no species in the galaxy expected. Humanity did not hide. Humanity prepared. On Earth, the skies thundered with engines as shipyards lit up the night. Factories that once built transports now produced railgun slugs the size of houses. Engineers whispered over blueprints, building weapons so strange that even human generals hesitated at their designs. But the real weapon was not steel, not fire. It was strategy. In a hidden base under the mountains, the Terran Defense Council gathered. Holograms of predator fleets hovered in the air. Generals studied every movement, every attack, every retreat. They spoke in calm, precise voices. They believe they are the hunters, one general said, but they do not see what we see. They are predictable. Their hunger makes them blind. We will not meet them with strength alone. We will make them walk into their own traps. The council agreed. Humanity would not fight on predator terms. Humanity would turn the predator's instincts against them. Soon, the first plan was born. Operation Mirror. Small human fleets appeared at the edge of predator-controlled systems. They looked weak, scattered, easy prey. The predators pounced, eager for blood. But when they closed in, the trap snapped shut. Hidden human ships uncloaked. Missiles streaked from asteroid fields, and drone swarms burst from seemingly dead freighters. The hunters who had stalked the galaxy for millennia suddenly found themselves surrounded, torn apart in ambushes they never saw coming. Predator commanders roared in fury. This is trickery, cowardice. But the truth gnawed at them. Humans were not tricking them. Humans were beating them at their own game. On the ground, it was the same. Predator raiding parties landed on colonies, expecting easy kills. Instead, they found farmers waiting with traps built from simple tools. Whole towns vanished into forests and mountains, leaving behind only silence and explosives hidden in the soil. One predator squad marched into an empty village. They laughed at the silence. Then the church bell rang. Walls exploded. Fire and metal rained down. When the smoke cleared, only humans stood. The predators began to fear shadows. Every rock, every asteroid, every silent ship could hide a human ambush, and the galaxy watched in awe. Civilizations that had bent their knees too. The predators now whispered to each other. The humans are not just fighting, They are winning. One elder species, who had lived under predator terror for centuries, sent a secret message to Earth. Teach us. Show us how to fight as you do. The predators heard of this, and their rage grew deeper. If prey began to follow humans, the empire of fear would collapse. But anger could not erase truth. Reports flooded the predator council chambers. Entire fleets lost to human traps. Supply lines cut. Hunters found themselves hunted. The predator leader slammed his clawed fist onto the table. They cannot be allowed to spread. We will gather our full strength, one fleet, one strike. We will burn Earth itself. Yet even as he spoke, unease filled the chamber. The hunters had always believed themselves unstoppable. But now they whispered in private. Are we the prey now? Back on Earth, humanity knew what was coming. They had won battles, but the war was far from over. Scouts reported predator fleets gathering, larger than anything seen before. Still, humanity did not tremble. The generals smiled grimly. The strategy was working. Every predator ship lost, every raid turned back, every survivor whispering fear it. All added up. One human commander said it best. They wanted us afraid. Instead, they gave us purpose. Now we will show them what it means to fight a species that refuses to die. The predators thought they had started the hunt. But now, the galaxy began to understand. Humanity was not prey. Humanity was the predator. That hunted the hunters. And soon, the greatest battle the galaxy had ever seen was coming. Asterisk. The turning point. The predator armada gathered in the dark between stars. Hundreds of ships, their hulls sharp like blades, their engines burning with hunger. They had never assembled such power in one place before. This was not a hunt, it was vengeance. The predator leader growled to his captains. No more games, no more traps. We will crush their spirit. We will break their heart. We will strike down Earth itself. The hunters roared their approval. They believed that one strike would end humanity forever. But the humans were waiting. At the edge of a barren system, the predators detected a single human ship, a lone vessel drifting among dead moons. It was massive, but it looked old. Its hull was scarred, its weapons silent. The predators laughed. This is their defense? One ship? Then today we end them. They advanced in full force, hundreds of ships spreading like a black tide. But the lone ship stirred. Lights flickered across its hull. Massive hangar doors opened. And from the darkness poured out swarms fighters, drones, bombers, more than the predators had ever seen. The predators fired, but the drones were too fast. They cut through shields, tore into engines, exploded against armor. Predator cruisers screamed as fire bloomed across their hulls. The human ship did not fight like a vessel. It fought like a fortress. Railguns boomed, firing slugs that shattered. Predator destroyers in a single strike. Missiles streaked like falling stars, carving holes through the fleet. On the Predator flagship, silence froze the command deck. This was no ordinary ship. This was a supercarrier. A floating city of war. The leader's eyes narrowed. One ship cannot stop us. Push forward. But then something happened that no predator expected. The human supercarrier shifted. Its armor opened, revealing more hidden bays. And from within, launched massive war drones the size of small frigates. One predator captain shouted, "This is impossible. How can one ship carry an entire fleet?" The human commander's voice cut across the channels, calm, cold, unstoppable. You thought the hunt belonged to you. But today, it ends. The battle turned into chaos. Predator formations broke apart under the relentless storm. Every move they made was countered. Every attack turned into their own destruction. Still, the predators fought with fury. They rammed drones. They burned through human shields. They refused to flee. For the hunters, retreat was worse than death. But death came anyway. The supercarrier unleashed its final weapon orbital kinetic strikes. Rods of tungsten, dropped from orbit, fell like silent meteors. Predator battleships split apart under the sheer force. Torn in two without warning. In minutes, the Predator fleet was no longer an armada. It was wreckage. Only a handful of ships limped away, engines burning, crews broken. The galaxy held its breath. For millennia, the Predators had been the terror of the stars. Now, for the first time, they had faced something stronger. Something they could not understand. Something that refused to bow, refused to run, refused to die. Back on Earth, the victory echoed like thunder. Humanity had shown the galaxy the truth. Even the deadliest hunters could fall, but among the humans, there was no celebration. Generals stood in silence, knowing what came next. The Predators would not stop. Their pride was wounded, their power cracked, but they were not yet destroyed, and so the humans prepared for the next step. They had defended themselves. Now, they would carry the war into Predator space. A Predator leader, aboard his shattered flagship, sat alone in darkness. He replayed the battle again and again. His claws dug into his throne until blood ran. "This is not possible," he whispered. "No prey should fight like this. No prey should hunt us." For the first time, the deadliest predator of the galaxy looked into the abyss and wondered if he was staring at the end of his kind. And far away, in the silence of deep space, the human fleet gathered once more. The hunters had always asked the same question: who can stop us? Now the galaxy had an answer. Asterisk.